Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. We're covering Season 53, 5 vs 5 Grand Arena Championship, Week 3. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts Dagger, TJ, and Sasha Isha. Gentlemen, how are you guys? How did you do this week? I managed to sweep a 3-0, a little adventurous because I actually had two legitimate rounds. How about you guys?
2-1.
2-1? Nice there. Okay.
Back in the top, like 150-ish.
All right. All right.
After a little hiatus down in TJ land.
No, it is Sep land, you prick. So let's move on from the point that Dagger's an asshole and still a fuckface. So that was a good week, man. It was 3-0, dude. It was a good week. And where I get to give Dagger his
where you
props
ended?
I
Where
don't
you
know. It
ended?
doesn't really tell you. I'll probably be in the high fours or something like that. I'm gonna have fun. Is what I'm telling you for threes. Threes, people
gotcha,
are
okay.
gonna be people. I will continue to be in GG Stepland or whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be a good time, dude. I'm excited for threes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
How about you, Sasha?
had 2 in 1 week, but only one real match, and that was a loss on Fleet. So it was as hollow as a 2-1 week gets.
Not me, baby.
Gross.
We did not screw up the fleet this time. Oh, so good.
That's good.
Well, it's
Savor
hard to
those
screw-
moments, TJ.
Look,
Savor those moments.
it's hard.
That's fantastic.
It's hard to screw up Fleet Sasha when you only fight against R5 ships.
That's true.
That's a fact.
I would laugh at him, but he's not wrong. There's a lot of R5 ships. But you know what? I didn't lose because of ships this week. Happy TJ.
Very
That's
good.
a good week.
All right, guys, as
Yeah.
always, time is a factor. So let's dig right into the meat and potatoes here, the meta-analysis. So it's a wrap-up here. The only new team that we really hadn't covered explicitly in detail up till this point would be Gungans. This was their debut week. I just want to say up front, my experience was against one team I used Malgus, and I finished the fight with like 20-something seconds on the clock. It was terrifying, a risk of timeout, and also, it was a risk for timeout, but that was with a Kron that didn't have a ton of protection on it. Or not, and certainly not a
think
new
you're also
Gungan
a very
Kron from the
On the
next season.
Gungan side, you mean, right, Cass? The Gungan
think
side
you're
did
also-
not have-
Yeah, right. It was not super high protection, so that if they happened to have had more, I most likely would have stalled out with Malgus. So it was sketch, but it got the job done.
You're also an extremely, we'll call it, deliberate player because, 52% prot added took me 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, I might have been sitting
Just
there
beat the fuck
and
through
chewing the cud on it a bit. I'm not above
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I won't lie to you.
Yeah, I'm
watched that battle.
I'm not claiming it's not a timeout risk. I'm just saying, like, I did not.
Very
I can
fair.
also tell you it's cool. When you're back where I'm at, you don't have to worry about Gungans. You get to watch everybody else fail, and then you are the only one with your Gungans, and then you put them on defense, and it's weird that they do really well. They hold well.
Technique.
Oh, my Gungan's got one shot every goddamn time for
Oh
65.
man, three shots. But here's what's cool, and I wanted to try and to Tass's point, and Dagger said a good call. Dagger was like, put the bulk on him. Well, I was in a place where I could actually try something different, so I went high deflection. Point being, the team is still super crazy and doing things like that, and if you can't add in special damage with what you're going to do, maybe that has an impact. Did it or did it not?
Yeah, the deflection makes it a lot harder for them to hit Jar Jar.
So I had 80% deflection, and that's the way I went. But as Dagger pointed out, he's like, well, you probably want to go with the bulk, seeing what you're facing, and that makes sense. But the high deflection, it was a 3-shot every time. I don't know what the middle second guy did, but each time 3-shot. They could not kill my team. So that held. And round 3 was enough to hold where they 3-shot my Gungans on my back wall and never attacked again.
Okay. Anyone else have an
I had a guy
interesting?
who had Gungans.
Go ahead.
I had a guy who had Gungans hold them for offense, which surprised me.
Wow, that
Do
is
you know what he used
surprising.
them for, Dagger?
Is history up?
I don't think
is
it
not,
is.
sir.
I
But I
checked
saw
earlier.
Zareth.
Okay.
Zareth kept his Gungans and started using them. He was pushing up on some pretty cool stuff. I don't know. I don't think we'll get to know the limit. But he was using it against some
Yeah,
good teams,
yeah.
and it was working out pretty cool from what I got to see.
Yeah, it's not up yet.
I in my one match I set my Gungan, so I didn't get to use them on O, but I took JML against it, which certainly felt like it should have been overkill because you've got I had JKR in there, opportunity direct focus on the shield generator, and even that, like, yeah, it was, I think, good banners, and I won, but I got a real sense of one, like, they can throw off some damage. Like, so the Gungans actually, they take a toll on you. I'm going to be really curious under the new Datacron set, which is more offense heavy, but has bulk at level 3, plus all the shenanigans on level 6 and 9. But it took a little bit. It just had the feel of like, okay, I was able to sort of OP it with the JML that round, but I'm like, this, if I had gone something less than that, unless it was Malgus, I probably would have had a drop.
Yeah. I can believe that. Wow. See, JML was one of the options I was considering to clear that. Well, before I cover the other one that I was using, offense, did anyone else find any interesting results having it on defense? Because mine was also just one shot, all 3 rounds.
Nope, 65 every time.
Okay. So no interest. We'll have to wait for history to see because nobody had a drop.
Yeah, mine are hard fails, which is cool. But again, that could be just not an understanding or what they were trying to take, and it could also be just what it's going to do for variation, right? So I don't know yet.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, TJ and I both benefited, so I'm not just going to throw TJ under this bus. TJ and I both benefited from being like not in the top 100, top 50. Yep. So I'm pretty sure people just like Leia at mine because I didn't see Leia all goddamn.
Right? So I did see a Leia, but that person had a 3-shot mine. So does that make sense? First round, Leia, there was a Leia. Third round, no Leia, but still a 3-shot. So I would imagine they might have taken something, but even then it wasn't enough. And that could be relics, that could be Kron, that could be multiple things. We'll know once we get the data.
All right, so my other offensive clear on that was using Inquisitors. This was wild, if you go back and see the VOD, because I kept getting just pinged between Jar Jar and Phalanx. Hit Phalanx getting taunt back after I'd be hitting Jar Jar, Jar Jar getting Death Mark back after I'd clear taunt off of Phalanx. Huge pain in the ass. So I was terrified because I was a decent bit into the fight. I took some damage. People were hurt. I didn't lose anybody. But I ended up getting the shield generator to just fall over.
Buff immunity?
Sorry, what?
Did you know that multiple Inquisitors inflict buff immunity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you meet their requisite?
You can go back and watch the VOD.
And that's still like no. Put it on stream. I'm asking, like, did they cleanse a lot? Like, were you not able to stick buff immunity?
I think... Well, the buff immunity...
Or did you not target him specifically with your buff immunity moves? Like, I'm just curious to how it played out.
Yeah, well, regardless,
right?
It's the point here is that I never needed to in the end. I mean, it probably would have ended the fight sooner. But the shield generator just died from all of the different AoE effects. And then they just melted immediately after. So, yeah, that it worked. It worked. I wouldn't call it super safe. I also had the 400% working for and against me, the 400% offense thing. So we definitely took some punches a little harder than we had to. But
I think
that'll be different next season. That'll be different next season.
And what we see, I think, is the consistency is, one, you need the AoE and you need the buff to stop to be able to do it, right? Because the variation and the variance that it brings is high. I think, obviously, like you talked about with the new setup coming and the new Kron, that's a whole different discussion. But the other thing I'll mention is it's also straining your defensive counters, because if it's not overkill, it's Malgus or it's Inquisitors. Well, that's being utilized other places too for, like, not now, right? But for this season, the recap. And that was one of the thoughts of why I had it down front, is because I'll put Saw right next to it. I'll put the Inquisitors right next to it. I'll put all of these pieces that were right next to the Gungans, because I was straining your resources other places. And so it worked out. I mean, for me, obviously it's on defense. But we're talking now. I'm only talking in recap. I was able to put the Inquisitors back, or I was able to put DTMG down right next to my Gungans, and they killed my Gungans, but got held up on my DTMG. And so it was really straining the same counters over places, so it worked out really well.
I have heard that there's a couple cheaper things, but without the history up, I can't verify.
Yeah.
But I will say that it's gonna be a different animal with the Gungan Krons.
Yeah.
But man, some people found some inventive, cheap ways to deal with Gungans, if and I won't go into them because history will bear that out. But yeah, I mean, like it still takes like a Metacron. It's not like it took nothing, right? But like there were some crons that opened up some avenues. So I think that there's going to be hope once we actually learn these goddamn kits.
Fair.
And I think that's one of the biggest things we're suffering from is like I still don't know what the hell these kits do. Cass and I had like a 20-minute conversation the other day about why Captain Tarples was like doing a certain thing, right?
Yeah. Like, but it's also got high variance, which is really cool. I think this is what I like about them so much is that you can understand the kit and still know that there's variation, right?
Yeah.
That you could get caught in one of these superb things of I would love to see it on one of the content creators only to see like, oh, I had the worst case scenario and actually be able to see what it looks like, right? Because we just don't know of how big it goes. Like if you get the death mark correctly, and then it also ties into the insta kill and how that worked out. We just haven't seen it yet, and I do want to see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
I did see somebody have the. I saw a screenshot of somebody having the instant kill procced. But here's the funny part: the instant kill was procced on a GL, so it did 70k.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still.
It's hilarious because all of a sudden you see like this resisted 70k. They screenshot it. It's like he tried to insta kill the GL.
Fantastic. Not for lack of trying, then. All right. Next meta team. I just wanted to cover a real brief note here about BKM. So having run her on defense and offense, more or less evenly over the life of the set 13 BKM Kron, particularly in this last season, big value having it on offense because the Finn Zori resistance team just gobbles it up for an easy 65. Of course, you can use C against it for less banners. There's other avenues, but the point is when like Finn Zori can just crush it, it wasn't worth it, and I could, 60 between 64 and 67, a few different teams, including GLs this week. So I very much enjoyed that. I don't know if any of you guys had anything you wanted to throw in on BCAM, because I know we generally covered her a long time ago and all that, but that was my final comment on it, wrapping up the set 13 Kron and everything of it.
I'll let Dagger go, and then I'll give mine, because I really liked her, where she was ended up being now.
I didn't... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, really quickly, and then I'll hand it back to you, Dagger. Yeah, no, the only thing, this was more like a relative statement on Finn Zori, in that I was finding Finn Zori like so terrifying to where an opponent could have Finn Zori punch up to, including like Ray and JMK and other stuff, that I'm like, you know what? I understand that they can use it on BKM and probably get a 65. But I'm okay taking that, like, just to pull Finn Zori off the board. And then there's a chance they don't use it on it, and then they get an ugly ban or C win or something like that. Mm-hmm. So maybe I outthought myself on that, but that was a decision I came to.
Fair. The rest of you guys, anything on BK?
I didn't really change my defense. So, like, because I had a pretty busy month, and it's going to get busier going forward here for a bit, but
you're cutting out a bit there, bud.
Yeah,
but came up front, and it pretty much held most rounds, so that's how I've been using mine. I still don't really have a good use for it on offense because people don't set Lord Vader.
All right, now you cut out there for a sec.
And
so you've been saying
people don't
that
set JMK.
You were cutting out there for a sec. So you were saying that you've been setting her on defense, and it's been holding for you. Was that right?
Yeah, off and on. Most rounds it held. Yeah, it's one of those things where like people don't set JMK against me. People don't set Lord Vader against me. They set like 2 GLs total, 3 GLs maybe, and then they just like. I guess what I'm saying is like if I saw a lot of Lord Vaders, I would probably save Bo more. Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, and now going forward, we'll certainly be using her more than likely. Yeah, almost exclusively on offense.
The team is complete dog shit.
Yeah.
But to kind of touch on what Sasha said, I made so much use out of and I've been using the bootleg Zori team to like amazing effect. So, I mean, Metacron teams just absolutely getting dumpster fucked by like Finn, JTR, BB-8, Zori plus Rose or Poe. Just absolutely getting just trucked.
Very good.
I'm going to keep mine specific. Yeah, I'm going to break mine down two ways. One, I watched the evolution of where we came for fives, and the whole glory of what became was what I saw was solved, in my opinion. Even for bad banners, it became solved. The one that was still proving troublesome and I had to get an answer for was JMK. So if it wasn't LV, it was JMK. So I kept my BKM for offense all 3 rounds. And all 3 rounds, I either saw an LV that I got to 2-shot with IG-12. And I was even mad at myself because I could have soloed with BKM because there was no maul. And then 2 JMKs. And it was the cleanest 100% counter win that I could have and still put a heavy defense. Because as we'll talk about for Dagger's point, his Ray team was phenomenal for me. That was one of the key teams in the way I was able to work the strategy. So BKM was a monster on offense because I always knew JMK was dead.
Very fair. All right. I know that we've talked here over the last couple of weeks about how we've been making effective use of Finzori. Any other hot usages of the Finzori team that you guys wanted to cover here as we wrap up this season? Because that was definitely meta defining, and we will have that available to us come next fives.
Is it? Oh man, Finzori, the Daggers team, dude. And so even when it goes to next fives, the surprise factor of old school bros and being able to do a rinky-dink Finzori team was awesome. And I had to bring up the reason for saying this is because one of my key points of the way I did it was I put the stuff in front that would take Bane, and if you were a Seer user, so Seer Malicos user, the team that it really messes with is when you have the bros on the Ray team with the Holdocron. So I had to bring it up this way because Dagger's point and how I worked my defense was beautiful. It aligned so well, and I could punch up. I don't know. Dagger gave me time, and I saw his history. He's got good comps in there, but it's like gases. I've seen Sears. It was killing. It was just because if they're doing high single damage and you couldn't stop it, rinky-dink Seer team or rinky-dink Zori teams with crap characters, not the bros.
DTMG.
Yeah. The punch-up was awesome.
Lots of stuff, man. We're in between. I'll just give you a little peek at it now.
Yeah, you're getting busted up right now, buddy. You're getting busted up right now. Your voice is busted up right now. Hopefully it comes back.
I control Discord.
All right.
Yeah.
So I would say we just look at Dagger's history.
Basically, I think Seer with Bulk is going to crush this race squad. So I don't think it's lasting.
No.
Seer with Bulk, yeah. You know what? It's funny. If nobody has any other comment there on Finzori, Sasha, did you want to pile in on that?
No, I liked the versatility, but nothing new that I'd add there.
Yeah, nothing new in week 3. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a natural feed right into our final thoughts on the Ray team. And I will say that, Dagger's suggestion of that comp with the Ray, Swolo, Resistance Bros, and Holdo with the Holdocron was it was like the best Ray counter to be resistant to Seer Malicos. And I had an opponent in round 2, legitimate opponent, like a Claw Patrol account. He was reliably using Seer Malicos against Ray. And I set that in the back with Leia up front to for sure draw his Bane, because that was his preference. And sure enough, he went on in and just ate it. And then had to go use something else and then ate it, because he preloaded on the first time. Never got to clear it, man. So, yeah, this season here, if you were about going after that Ray with Seer Malicos, that could have been tough. But interesting, Dagger, you're saying that, just the addition of that 60% increased health and protection that we'll have with the Boltcron next 5 season, you're thinking that's going to just crush Ray regardless.
Yeah, so the reason the bros are there is that the Seer team is actually relatively squishy once you get their prod up off. And if you give them extra health and protection, that feeds their prod up like ridiculously hard. And if you remember Seer Malicos, the last time Bulk was around, you never even lost your bonus protection versus Ray, and Ray had Ufu double damage.
This offense and armor pen. are nuts. These numbers and stats are bringing in with you through Malikos and looking at ATF and what she was doing. She was deleting. I still remember the nightmares of ATF deleting my C. And this is coming again. We're coming back around to where she's back and in full prime. That's not even including what Malikos is going to do. Sir Malikos is on a whole other level again.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, you're going to be dropping Fulcrum off the team now, though. That's the thing. Like, you're going to be adding a third dark side person for the extra bulk on Malikos and crew, so they can't be through your taunt.
So this is like the high tide then. The high tide coming next time for like trying to integrate Maul onto your Seer team, maybe on defense if you were getting out of the mind.
Oh, on defense? Yeah, if you can do that shit on defense. Lord Vader plus Rogue Guard.
Right? Yeah. That sounds interesting.
I mean, outside of the fact you can just like see set plus bulk level 3 it like
you can, but I remember it being a tough team, right? I took Trey or something like that when Maul was there as a surprise factor, and man, that team had legs. Maul was a monster because the AI just plays it so well of 2-shot, back in him, back at 5 stacks, and it continues to do it. And then Malikos is right behind him, just power passing you right down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mark my words, I'll bet you DTMG clown fucks it.
Fair.
Well, yeah, it's team game, so I know what you're doing. Yep, I can see that.
Yeah, and he's not going to have his prawn anymore, so he's back on offense too.
All right, guys. Last meta team that we really wanted to cover here, because I know this was important for a couple of us, was GG Stap on defense, particularly as a fork, though, in the context of what kind of trap you laid to actually make it effective. I think. Was it Dagger who wanted to touch on it first? Did you have something specific on it?
I
think
it was Sasha.
Well, Sasha. Okay.
Well, I have quick thoughts on it. It's basically like going forward, looking forward to next season. There's this for Mizori, and looking back at this last season, and I can't say if the fork worked for you guys, but I saw a handful of people try the fork and they failed miserably because it just had enough cheap counters.
I think you might have cut out there for a second. So what was the actual fork?
Oh, no, the fork where you're trying to draw DTMG up front.
Right. What was the fork?
Trying to draw DTMG up front did not require DTMG for either piece very frequently.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like, okay. I think a guy was going.
Yeah. So if you're trying to stack your front, so if you're trying to stack your front wall to make them use DTMG to put Jabba in the back, it's not. And like that's what I'm saying. Like if you had a fork that worked, I'm all ears. But like the forks, I was seeing people try, were not actually working because you could,
have Sasha go and then I'll give my.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Sasha. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, to jump in, I mean, the reason I suggested GG Stap, it's obviously, Pod's got some great uses on offense, including Leia. But the thing that struck me, and I actually, as I look back on it, the one match that I had that I lost this week, I lost just on banners, despite one-shotting on ground. I had one drop on fleet, lost by 3 banners, and my big bleed on ground or overall was an SLK versus GG Stap, because as I looked at the variety of options, I mean, there were some okay options, not a lot of great options, and the one that had the highest win rate was SLK, but with a lot of bleed built in. And it's a meta that is still at this point not pure efficiency, or not as bad as it's been, but fairly efficient. And I think I took a full first order squad. And there are just, a lot of first order pieces flying around. Like it definitely takes a toll. I think I lost 9 banners maybe on that, and in a match I lost by 3. So it's a squad that, like, I looked at other possibilities that had meaningful risk of drop. So I don't know about you guys, but that was one that really stuck out to me.
The one time I was forced to use Slacker, I did Slacker, Hux, Faust.
Yes,
I
did the same.
Saw that there. and I should have done that. You're right. Foss has incredible survivability at like a high relic.
He's a monster. Mine's only relic 8. I know a lot of folks have him at 9 in our neck of the woods. Man, even at 8 in full defense, he's just roar. Like not even losing like 25% protection over the course of the fight.
He's stacking max protection like crazy under it. Yeah. And I lost my crew. I lost Hux. I believe I lost maybe. Did I bring red, I guess? But it was Faust and SLK that were hanging in there. Basically, I think Faust eventually died, but he was a beast.
Very fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, and I did lose both Faust and Hux in my fight too, Sasha, so it's not like mine was clean.
Ooh.
Just less
okay.
clean.
Okay.
It wasn't clean. It was just minus. It was just like minus. I ended up getting like a 53 or 62, I think, instead of like a 57.
So let me ask you, do you think you would have been able to close out the fight faster and therefore for possibly better banners if you had brought along red and had a 4th?
No.
Okay.
I think he made exactly the right call. I had contemplated, I saw it in history, that combo of Hux and Foss, and I have an R9 Faust. And yeah, I'm convinced instead of a 56, I would have had a 61, and that was enough to turn the outcome of my match. So, yeah, I think Dagger's spot on with that.
Very fair.
Now, all of that is very different because the set 15 first order stuff for anybody that's got it coming in is, it's a brand new day for first order.
Completely different. Yeah, completely different life.
Oh, man.
Speaking
I led with, really quick, I led with swipe in arena. Put Ray into red, and all the sides were dead. Just one swipe. Just one swipe, turn one with Slacker. Everything's dead.
Yeah.
Everything dies.
There will be no mercy. Very good.
Sorry, just...
No. Very good. Very good. Let's move to the next segment here. Offensive gambles. So, let's pick our favorite offensive gamble. It could be a success. It could be a failure. You know, it doesn't always have to pan out. But it was something you thought had a reasonable chance of working, and that's what made it interesting. So let's say Dagger first. How about you? Your gamble of the week.
I think last week I mentioned Zori, and I only bring that up because this whole week, like every single time I used it, I'm like, this is gonna win. It wasn't a gamble. That's a bonus one. So if you guys wanted to try that next season, it's no longer a gamble. It's just gonna win. But I think the biggest gamble I did was, I'm debating between two of them. I think it would honestly have to be Inquisitors versus Leia.
Inquisitors versus Leia. Okay, let's hear about it.
It kind of worked. I think I got a 57, 58.
Okay, let's hear. What made it so interesting?
Well, Drogon fell down like a sack of potatoes because he death marked himself.
Yes.
But here's the thing I didn't look at. Their R2 didn't have the cleanse Zeta.
Oh, that is interesting. You were uniquely vulnerable in the sense you couldn't target him. Oh, that's cool.
And they didn't death mark themselves just by critting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Wow, how rare is that? Yeah, you said you're climbing your way back up, so it's rare that you might see something like that out here.
Hell, I put on that Zeta on R2 like 3 months ago, so I'm not going to pretend like.
Fair enough. All right, that's a good one. TJ, how about you? Your gamble of the week.
Got 0, buddy. This week of 3-0 was all deliberate, and everything worked as intended. So I get to take no real gambles.
You scum. All right, fine. You smooth criminal.
TJ's taking my usual role of nope. Everything worked kind of as planned because it's.
It worked exactly.
Down.
Yeah, it worked exactly.
Yeah.
Even when I screwed up, here I'll give you one. I moved quick, and on JMK I took a BKM. Didn't take Paz. Took OG Mando, but I still won. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even close. So to your point, it's like, so there's my gamble, but I still won the fight and won the war. So it's like, now, this whole week was, nope, we're playing it correctly, and you're going to lose. If you make one mistake, you slip, you die.
This week was TJ fighting an average relic level of 5 on defense.
That's also
I'm not
probably
even saying
true.
that for shade. That was me like the second week.
No,
so I'm not
that's
even trying to throw
probably
any
accurate.
shade.
No, you're being pretty much accurate. So I said when you laughed about the shifts, I'm like, no, it's pretty much true.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
I will say it was a joy to fight an R5 IG 2K.
All right. Well, Sasha, how about your gamble?
Yeah, nothing was totally out on a limb, but with banners being tight in my match with Quasar, who said a good D, but I was looking for the opportunity to, underman if I could. And this is just a shout out to Brilliant Zid. This was his counter. I think we've all seen it at this point. But to Sakura, taking the 4-man DV, LV, Thrawn, and RG. Again, not a risk and it's out on a limb, but it's a creative undermanned 66 banner win against a team that now the sun is set on the Detroit DC, but that certainly going into it was high risk, and if you don't come proper, you could have issues. But a 66 was really nice, and so shout out to Zid there.
And actually, and also a credit to him. Last week when he fought you and he gambled, taking the 3 DV, and I think it was just Thrawn.
Right.
He lost because he didn't have the combination of the max health 3 and the prod up and turn meter Empire level 6. He did that against me. He was kind enough to stream his battles against me in the final round here, and he picked the right cron this time, and the 3-man worked for a 67.
That's awesome.
So very fair. All right. For my part, my gamble of the week. So we had a surprise nasty Sith Eternal team placed by Zid in the back. Nihilus, Talon, Treya, Savage. Massive health cron. I want to say like 59% health, something like that, and 24% offense. Something very significant. Had to go in with, Lord Vader. Now, I did have full proper to throw at it. Maul, Royal, Thrawn, and Piet. It got right on down to LV. It got right on down. It was terrifying. It was a 53. So it was it really could only be worse at a 52, and still be a one-shot. But that Sith Cron is no joke. And again, he said it with high health. Depending on, I don't know what otherwise you might use to fight it, where the health would make a difference. But if that had a lot more offense on it, I wonder, if he had swapped the percentages and it was so much more offense than it was health, I wonder if they would not have closed me out before I would have popped off first ultimate. Because it was sketch as hell. That was a very nasty fight. Still got it done, though. All right, guys. Let me check my notes here. Sorry. Standout defenses. Your top defense of the week. Back over to Dagger. How about you?
Probably.
Ooh, we're out in the chop again, Dagger.
Bower.
Ooh. Yeah, it's bad. I'll tell you what, Dagger. We'll come back to you in a minute. Let's hit TJ.
I can't make Discord like that.
I know, I can't. But we'll pick our moment a little better. Let's hit TJ and circle back to you. TJ,
mine's easy, man. Yeah, because I know I've got a couple minutes left. So mine's easy. Gungans definitely did the work, and Dagger's Ray team in the back were my key standouts. One, because I don't think they expected it. I don't think they scouted, so to be fair. But having the Leia in the front was cool because they banged it, and they was always going to bang it because they didn't have GG Stat or they would use GG Stat. But it either held the line and you didn't clear it, or it took it 8 banners, right? So that's what you need in this meta. And then Gungans, he got one shot the round 2, but round 1 and 3 both were 3 shots, solid 3 shots to get through it. So that was a great starting.
Very nice. All right, back over to you, Dagger. Your top defense of the week.
I mean, probably Bow in the front or Leia in the back. Both got some holds. I didn't really change my defense though, so I don't really know. What the reasons were.
Okay, yeah, tough to say. We didn't get our our GG.DG update today before we're recording, so it's unfortunate. But yeah, Sasha, how about you? Your top defense of the week?
I'd go with Malgus. Malgus with the Sith Prawn, a ton of health. Yeah, it's just obviously, he's high utility, like you said. I mean, he's maybe the best alternative to a GL against the Gungans, or had been prior to Gungan Datacrons hitting the board. But he while he was one shot, he took 13 banners off the opponent. Like, they ended up with a 52. So basically, got down to a mono, and yeah, so a big fan of Malgus.
Fantastic! Wow. I did set him myself. My opponent cleared it, effortlessly. But yeah, I thought that was clever to sneak it in on defense this week. Now, my standout was actually Gas Krex, in the sense that folks out here have been fairly reliably using Starkiller to take it out with a Doubtcron. So I don't know how well this works next time it comes around for fives, but we'll still have the Gascron that makes it work. So that's going to be your set 14 Jedi, stacking offense and speed level 3, 100% added offense level 6. And the idea here is you're maybe a lot of the time you're thinking to skew towards offense, but really it's about prot. Put as much prot on that cron as you can, because the longer you can keep gas from sitting down, that's really the key. And then when he stands up, after that first go down, if they can't quickly close it out, they're not going to survive to make him sit twice. So I was able to snag a couple people on that one. I very much appreciated that little change, because otherwise I was running a cron that was way more offense and less prot, and it wasn't holding. So just that change was enough. All right, takeaways, final thoughts. TJ, I know you have seconds to go. Your last word for the people.
Yeah, I'm going to have fun in threes, man. I'm excited because I'm going to have toys people don't. And when you have the toys they don't have, for some reason, it always seems to work out pretty good.
Yeah, you're going to just be slaughtering kids. You're going to be sumo, you're going to be sumos, sitting on kids.
Yeah, man, I got new Obi-Wan. That dude's a monster. I have new Krons. I have Tusken. I have Gungans, and they won't have Gungans. Yeah, dude, I'm going to have a blast.
The shadow of your ass cheek shall pass over these kids.
As you would say, both of them. Both sides of both sides of both pieces of the butt cheek will be engaged.
Good. Very good. Well, hey, I know you're probably running right out, but thanks for joining us, man.
Always, man. Appreciate it, guys. Good luck.
All right, deuces.
Take care.
All right, Dagger, how about you? Your takeaways from this week / final thought. What do you want to leave the people with?
Well, TJ kind of mentioned the Obi Cron, and I just wanted to follow up with a little soapbox from last. Say fuck you, TG. Cron. Yeah. I have it, so joke's on me.
Yeah. You're gonna say F you to CG, and then obviously financially reward them for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just but no, I just wanted to piggyback off of that. But yeah, it's it's gonna be interesting going into threes because of the splits. So for example, Reva has an L9 and Night Sister has an L9. Right, so looking back, this last season, like Sasha said, it was kind of more of a less egregious than previous seasons. So really look forward. So I'm just kind of looking at 3v3 and what the landscape's going to look like with all the different L9s, and I think we mentioned earlier that the offense and defense level 9s. I think it's going to be really interesting for these next couple of months with these new crons, because they feel so incredibly specific.
Chopped up there at the end, but I think we got the gist of what you're going for. Yeah, these new crons are going to be pretty cracked, and I'll mention that when we get circle back to me here. But point well taken. Sasha, how about you? Your lessons learned from week 3 here, and your final thought for the people.
Final thoughts, prospectively, actually, just looking forward, because I think it's been so big of an impact. 2 words, Gwen Stefani. And by that, I mean, no doubt. Like, how many different times have we looked at counters looked at defenses on the board and certain considered counters and go, well, that won't work because that's got doubt on it. Right. Doubt's removal from the board. I think it was great. I think it was a nice injection of viability for a lot of squads defensively, and I think it coming off is going to be pretty big impact. I think it reopened certain counters that had been blocked off for a while. It changes the banner recovery dynamic, and so I think go for it, David.
It also makes the tenacity. Oh, it really makes the tenacity up level 3 from this last set really, really good now. Because it wasn't that good before.
Right,
like, for example, Knights could beat Zori with the tenacity up because they just get down and it's like, haha, you still die. And now, that's good. And, like you said, it really afforded us the ability to do things that we maybe weren't used to be able to doing or maybe have taken for granted.
Very fair.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, Sasha, sorry, you were saying.
No, I think that's it. I think it's a neat shift, and we'll get into it in further conversations on another episode about the impact of the impending datacrons, but I think the absence of doubt will be big.
Yes. Yeah, well, and I didn't want to stop you guys, but you basically both picked my plate clean. I was going to talk about how set 13 expiration is seismic in that doubt is gone. Maybe you might have never learned exactly what that mechanic did if not for that cron, because it was really only on Afra and Malgus, and you could kind of ham-fist your way through using those teams and maybe not know the full nuance on it. But I'll tell you what, I might forget my own name on my deathbed before I forget that doubt prevents TM gain, protection recovery, and what was it? Something else? Buffs. That's the third element. Yeah. So there it is. Like, doubt. If nothing else, this set 13 taught me doubt. I will never forget what doubt is about.
And one more addition to that task. Here's the part that maybe people didn't think about. When that cron inflicted locked doubt, if you were using Malgus, it turned into fear.
Yeah, it was so abusive on Malgus. I mean, granted, that's why Jedi Cal's so important to have, because Jedi Cal was still handling business against it. But anyway, yes, we have this new set 15. We're just now in the second day of Conquest, so we're making our mad dash, and that's really the last comment for me is. Put your blitz in right now. If you are not a spender, that's fine. You might have heard me say before that I'm able to stay within your daily crystal budget, getting what you get from being in Kyber 1, which is your 260 crystals, and then taking one in Fleet every day, which is 375, and then with your daily quest or whatever, what is it, 475?
It's 400.
400, whatever, okay. The point is that staying within your daily crystal income, I'm not farming ship energy or regular energy, so if you're doing character grinds, adjust accordingly. But at what I'm doing, like I put my 3 100s into Cantina, I put my 350s into mods, and then I'm always going through the 100s in Conquest when Conquest is on. When Conquest is off, I put those 3 100s into mod energy. So I reduce my mod load at this point in time. But I always go through the 100s. I personally do very much stand by the $10 pack. The extra rewards are nice. And yeah, it's never been not worth my time to have at least that. But I know that Dagger has advocated it strongly for it in the past. I've really enjoyed it in the past. Is if you are of the mind to jump in on that $30 pass, you will have to do less refreshes to get an equivalent result to what I'll have to be doing. If I want to spend more crystals, to get those added refreshes, because you have that stamina regeneration, energy regeneration increase. And you're able to generate more out of it, what I'm saying. And if you are of the mind... Hold on, Dagger, hold on. And if you are of the mind to do it at all, you get the least value of it in the last run of a conquest. You get the most value in the first. This is the first run of set 15. So if you are of the mind, think about it. Anyway, Dagger, go ahead, make your point on that.
Well, yeah. So I was just saying, I buy the $30 pass, the first of every set, and the first of each trio of conquests. So it ends up being most of the time. But that first conquest, having that pack, like for the first Queen Amidala one, it made it easier, just having that extra whatever.
Yeah. So again, there's an efficiency gain. Like if you're willing to spend, first of all, if you're not spending it all, do what I'm saying about diverting the crystals from your mod farm.
Also, you get 800 crystals a day if you're in Kyber 1 and you take first and fleet every day. You get roughly 800.
Okay.
700, 300 from Cantina, and then I do 300 from Cantina and 6 on mods, and similar to TAS, except I continue to do the 100s on mods, and I just save my GAC crystals and just spend those on Conquest.
Fair. Different strategy. Yeah, different strategy.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just hit Conquest hard, though, because this set is just like set 14, where we, if you saw the set 14 Datacron video, I was saying, myself and Aesop were saying how important it was to, with all these level 9s, that you got so many of these key ones. There's less that are so impactful in this set, but it's pretty similar. So you're going to want to put in effort up front, because this first, week or so of 3 vs 3 is going to be nuts. Sorry, you were saying?
A couple more quick notes. Number one, just to reiterate what Tass said and I echoed, if you're in Kyber 1 and take fleet every day, you can do 6 mod refreshes and 3 Cantina refreshes literally every day and still earn crystals.
Yes.
Do not forget that.
And when I tell people that it's free to play to do that, that's what I mean. That is what I mean.
Yes, you bank between 30 and 45 crystals a day doing that. Mm-hmm. That and the data cache cap is up to 60 million now instead of 30. So I don't even have to make it to Sector 4 this season.
Ooh, yeah, that's just a good PSA, folks. Be breaking down your set 13s. Yeah. It dusts tomorrow. Well, I guess most folks won't see this in time, but yeah, I mean, if gotta do that.
But I don't. I just farmed Sector 1 for raw datacrons because they give you so much Mark 1 for disassembling. So I'm just making level 3s trying to find bulk.
Fair. Very fair.
I didn't even go to 4 because, I'm not going to cap. Anyways.
Okay, and then aside from that, just another note. So set 15 Datacron video should be hitting here Wednesday. So I think by the time we get this out to this video out to the public on Friday, it will be available for 2 days here on the channel. So look for my Datacron Set 15 video. It was my pleasure again to record that with Aesop Rock, one of the very finest, winningest players in the game. So we shared our thoughts there, and I think that'll get you well prepared for the new set. All right. As always, thank you, Dagger and Sasha Isha. I always thank TJ as well, but thank you guys for making the time here to be with me tonight. I'll go ahead and start wrapping up here.
Bounce, but I will see you for the basketball game tonight.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and catch that. But yeah, guys, if you want to catch me live, you can find me on twitch.tv/Tassinix. Obviously you're watching this here on my YouTube, Tassinix Gaming. If you like what I'm doing here, give us a subscribe. Likes, comments on the videos that you enjoy. I do enjoy interacting with you guys, and I try to give reasonable, insightful, well-thought-out answers if you are so kind as to leave a comment, so get in on that. I do upload my VODs here to YouTube from Twitch with chapters added for easy browsing. You already heard about the Datacron set videos. So yeah, that's what we offered. Of course, Plotting and Scheming here is not only on YouTube, but it's also out on Spotify and YouTube podcasts. Working on getting it onto Apple Podcasts. That is incredibly difficult, as are most things Apple. And of course, if you enjoy this program and you love it so much that you want to support what I'm doing, you got to check out the Tassinix Gaming Patreon. Let me pull that up here for you guys. check out patreon.com. Oops, that's the wrong screen. We got to cover that later. Check out patreon.com/Tassinix. For any upwardly mobile GAC player, there's something of interest to you. Thanking the patrons that make all of this possible. Oops, that's also the wrong one. At VIP Access, you're able to get in at $5 and get early access to all of my YouTube exclusive content, including Plotting and Scheming and the Datacron Set 15 video. And you also get access to dedicated Discord chat and text channels with secret, proprietary information. But yeah, if you always want to hang out and be able to get a hold of me, that's a place to do it. So shout out to my supporters here at VIP Access: Andrew, White Wolf, Sam Vimes, Jobin4527, Stark Strategy Gamer, Raise Malbus, Brock Thudsteel, Renee Bebe, Deadpool Cow 28, Johnny B. Ottawa, JJ's Productions Twitch, Sweens 14, and Darth QP PMG. Moving to VIP Access Plus, this is where you start to get into the bundles for your intelligence, right? So we got the OmegaBot bundle here. You get a bundled membership to myself and this patron level OmegaBot where you can pull a custom number of weeks to make a very targeted report on your opponent. If you catch my streams, you'll see me go over that report on every single opponent because the at-a-glance nature of the intel is so good. Thank you so much to Stryker and Esh Sotnikan taking advantage of that offer. Of course, at VIP Access Premium, the double bots. This gets you OmegaBot, Patreon, as well as Hot Utils Patreon. And that is the premier tool for mass mod management, whether it's slicing, loadouts. That's what I use it for. Of course, guilds use it for entirely different features that really help you manage everything to do with TW. But yes, thank you so much to Quig, Ibanek, Sir Boss, and Trevor Boy Gaming for seizing on that double bundle. Of course, at the top of the heap, at Jester's Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, this guy pops in on stream on occasion and just goes ham with it. Hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, and that's just, in one stream he's done, not to say nothing of his, very generous, kind support over the last couple of years of streaming. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate it a ton. All right, and of course, last but never least, the special thanks to Yoda Force, one of my original supporters. He used to be my guildmaster way back when I was in Vanguard. He bought me the mic that I'm speaking to you on, and though he has long since quit the game, we remember him fondly and wish him well on the other side. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you so much for all of your work in the background, whether it's updating my slides or, keeping my very curious, industrious daughter out of my hair during the attempt to stream and be good at a phone game. Thank you so much. And of course, I know it's a bit of a repeat, but it always bears repeating. For Dagger, TJ, and Sasha Isha, my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, it would just be another opportunity for me to monologue. And you get enough of that from my stream. So thank you so much to you guys for making the time from your, work and family schedules to make our show. It means a ton, and the quality just keeps getting better in my view, and that is so much. That's really because of you guys. All right, coming back over to the main scene. Yeah, I've got to get on with Conquest, man. I'm only in Sector 2, and I just did a ton of refreshes at the end of Sector 1, just grinding up some crons just to have a dump for my excess Datacron cache, trying to clear up as much of that so I lose as little as possible when they force break it down tomorrow. But I've got work to do. You've got work to do, and I'll see you next week for the preseason video going into 3 versus 3. We've got a great special guest. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a blast. And until next time. It's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.